which was where she intended to make her name one day, even if her father thought she should enter a field with a more promising future. Ghost clearers were a dying breed, the profession grown disreputable, even mocked. In their heyday, they'd helped the country heal after the bloody North-South War, when whole pockets of land were overrun by angry spirits. But that was 40 years ago. The country had been consumed by grief, giving ghosts the energy they liked to attach themselves to. It was a new century now, and ghosts, which were sensitive to electricity, were disappearing as more places used electrical lights. Ghosts had become an unfashionable problem most people would not admit to having. Her old friends, a gang of ragtag children she'd played pirates and forts with, were thousands of miles away in Wickham, Massachusetts, the little town outside of Boston where she'd grown up. Her father hadn't said it at the time, but from the way they'd left, quick in the dead of night, barely ahead of the debt collectors, she doubted she'd ever see the place again. She missed their comfortable house in Wickham, the basement laboratory where her father conducted his research into the unseen world of spirits, she sitting at his elbow, jumping up to assist when needed. The scandal that cost him his job destroyed their old life permanently. But there was no sense regretting the past. "Onward, eh, Lucy?" he would say, readying his ghost-clearing bag. She could picture him fastening his high collar and ascot. He always looked proper, no matter how low their fortunes sank, his blue eyes twinkling in a conspiracy he shared only with her. Onward, she thought dully, pressing her nose against the window. Was the train slowing? The scenery outside hadn't changed. There was the thick, unvarying forest and a distant band of blue on the horizon that marked the Pacific Ocean. Still, no signs of any town or settlement. But maybe they were coming up on Pentland. Lucy unlatched the window and stuck her head out, risking cinders from the whirling smoke. She squinted up at the steam engine, puffing along. They were definitely losing speed. She sat back down and brought out her map. Everything 100 miles north of San Francisco was green, First Peoples Federation territory. Here and there were small orange blobs, marking outposts of the American states. Saarthe, a mitten-shaped peninsula that stuck out from the coast like a hand grabbing at the ocean, was one of these. Pentland, its capital, was where her father had gone nearly 6 months ago, and where the train was due to arrive that evening. If she survived that long without exploding from impatience. From the small black case on the seat beside her came the low ticking of mechanical workings. But none of the instruments inside it was a watch. She debated whether to ask the lumberjacks for the time. Bert had just started a new story. This one was about a man who'd gone into his shed to get what he thought was an empty sack. Only he picks it up, and it's really heavy. So he thinks, "I'm just going to put my hand in there." He went silent, and Lucy readied herself for another operatic belch. But the burp she expected didn't come. With a squeal of brakes and a puff of steam, the train stopped. Quiet descended on the rail car, the 3 lumberjacks staring gloomily at something on their side of the train. The only sound was the vibration of the devices in her black case. That was odd. They never reacted, unless there was a strong energy source around. She couldn't see anything from her window, so Lucy crossed the aisle to look out on the other side of the train. Now she understood why the lumberjacks were quiet. Just outside the train, a cluster of thick wooden poles rose into the sky, standing like guardians of the dark and brooding forest behind them. They were carved and painted with faces, unsettling combinations of animal and human, and their eyes stared fiercely ahead. "Why are you here?" the poles seemed to ask. "Explain yourself." The door to the car opened, the young red-haired porter holding it solemnly, as if attending someone of great importance. A girl walked in.